Welcome, everybody, to the next episode of The Expendable Show. I'm your host, The Expendable. It's Sunday, and there's so many things that have happened over the weekend. And if you're like me, and wintertime hits, and you just want to hibernate all the time, like you tend to just sit around and find things to like make your brain work. So that's kind of what I did all weekend. But if someone's knocking on my well, if it isn't Shauna. But if you like my show, like, subscribe, and uh, we will would love to have more people join our show on a weekly basis. Also, I'm not going to put my book up because I've got something else I'm going to pop up here in a little bit. But if you like reading books and you want to know kind of about my my author abilities, I have a book that just came out on October 31st. It's called The Swiss Effect. It's available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and at your local Walmart, and in about 7 different countries, except England, because England doesn't like me. But whatever. I wasn't trying to go to England anyway.
Don't start.
I can't help it. Not worried about England. They're like a third world country. So also let's go dig right into the international news this week, because there's not really a lot going on. Like, I guess right now the US news is the international news right now. So they're kind of hand in hand right now, because Biden's taking naps, Kamala's drunk, and Obama's trying to start a coup. So you've got all these three things going on, where really no one's running the country. So Trump just kind of just jumped up there and said, I got this, guys. You guys go back to your bender. So what's happened? So Trump met with Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau. And this was a significant meeting simply because they talked about several topics that were of importance. They talked about trade, border security, the fentanyl problem, defense, the Ukraine, NATO, China, the pipelines in the Middle East, and the upcoming G7 that's going to be in Canada. So those are all things that you would expect a president to want to talk to another world leader about. So that's good. During that meeting, Trump did threaten Canada with a 25% tariff. He also threatened it with Mexico, which we talked about a few episodes ago. So Trudeau and the newly elected Mexican president, which is Claudia Sheinbaum. It's not a very Mexican name. I'm disappointed. She sounds Jewish. They have a Jewish president. I'm just trying to add it up.
Inappropriate.
I'm just saying. Sheinbaum sounds like a Jewish name. Just saying. Not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it just doesn't make sense. But they've all come to the negotiation tables since Trump announced that. And now, so I want to explain something on the liberal side. So the liberals have seen this, because Trump's been very vocal about it. Like, I'm going to invoke tariffs on people if they don't want to get in line. And he's been saying that to everybody. And what the liberals are doing, especially the influencers, they're getting on social media and they're saying Trump is going to destroy our economy with these 25% tariffs. Trump is not going to utilize these tariffs unless he has to. This is a negotiation tactic, because as we're going to find out why he's doing it with Canada here in a second, Mexico, they have played zero effort. They put zero effort in to helping us secure the border. Just recently, they started breaking up the migrant caravans. So, that's part of the deal. And Trump is making deals, and he's using the tariffs as a collective negotiation tool, which is smart to do. You want to have something to bring to the negotiation table. Everybody in the world wants to do business with the United States. So why not have a standard that says, look, if you guys don't work with us, then we're not working with you, and you're going to pay the tax. And I think it's a smart idea, and we're seeing the effects of that now, where Donald Trump is getting his point across, and these world leaders are starting to adjust to it. Both leaders came out and they said that, well, we think these tariffs are going to be averted, that this isn't going to happen. We're coming to the negotiation table and we'll work something out with the president. So that's something. So Trudeau, he said during the meeting, he said, or after the meeting, he said Trump got elected because he promised to bring down the cost of groceries. But now he's talking about adding 25% to the cost of all kinds of products, including potatoes from Prince Edward Island in Atlantic Canada. Okay, yes, on paper, just like I said, the liberals are only looking at this in black and white. Oh, it's a tariff, bad. But they're not looking at this as this is going to hurt the economy of the country receiving the tariff. So Canada's talking tough right here. Trudeau's talking tough because he knows that Canada's in trouble if this 25% tariff goes on the table. So that's going to require him to bring something to the table that Canada usually never brings to the table. They just show up with their hand out and go, here, United States, give us something. And so now we're having this situation where Trump has the upper hand. He's got the high ground. Trudeau went on to say it's important to understand that Donald Trump, when he makes statements like this, he plans on carrying them out. Absolutely, he does. If you don't want to play, you're going to pay. And he's proven that to be true. China didn't want to play, so they're paying. And they're still paying because Biden never got rid of the tariffs on them. But, liberals forget about that. But that's okay because they need to be there. It keeps China from building, real military equipment. Instead, they get their Walmart quality. I shouldn't say that because Walmart's selling my book and it's an American-made book. Walmart's 99% Chinese. There, how's that? So the Canadian officials, as a conglomerate, they're downplaying the border and fentanyl issues, which I get that because statistically speaking, the problems are heightened on the Mexican border. However, Trump is going to secure the Mexican border. So when that happens, where's the next point of entry? Canada. So everyone's going to divert up to Canada. What happens when that happens? Well, Canada didn't prepare ahead of time. So they're not going to be able to help secure that border. And we're going to have to do it ourselves. And Canada's not going to like that. So when this happens, Trump is trying to get ahead of this. He's trying to cut all the avenues off that these players that are still trying to get all these drugs and human trafficking into this country. He's trying to cut all their avenues off. And it's smart. It's better to play ahead and plan ahead and be ahead of your opponent than it is to just sit there and react to them. And we've spent, as a country, our last at least 4 years and then beyond reacting to everything in the world. When we're the United States of America, we shouldn't be just reacting to everyone else. We should be out there steering the ship. And that's what Trump is trying to bring back to the table. He wants to steer the ship and get America to a certain place in the global scheme of things. So, obviously Trump, he stated that if a tariff for failing to address trade and immigration issues would kill the neighbor, which is Canada, because Canada's crying because it's gonna hurt their economy. But Trump says that maybe Canada should be the 51st state. And Trudeau, you can be the governor. And then somebody during the meeting said, well, we don't want to do that because then Canada will be heavily liberal. And Trump said, no problem. We'll cut Canada in half. They'll have a liberal state and a conservative state. And I just thought that was funny because I'll guarantee you when Trump said that, he had that is right. The good fight is the right fight. But I do think that when Trump made that statement, when he threw that out there, he came out and he probably, you know how Trump is, the guy doesn't really laugh. So he probably had a very strict poker face on when he said that. And so the articles that I've read is that Trudeau got really nervous. He laughed, but it was kind of like a nervous laugh. Like he didn't know if Trump was being serious or not, which is smart on Trump's part because you don't want to, kind of tip your hand. And I think Donald Trump does a good job of keeping other world leaders on the edge of their seat, which makes them play by the rules, at least by American rules. So Trump brought up the $100 billion deficit that is between the U.S. and Canada, which is basically Canada screws us all the time on trade. So Trump brought that up, and I guess in the meeting he got a little animated about it. He's tired of it. And so part of the deal is Trump will get rid of the 25% tariff on Canada if Canada helps protect the border and works on their deficit. Trump probably is the best troll, although he didn't troll as much this time around as what he did in his last two election bids, but he's still the man at it. Trudeau's worried because the tariff's going to kill the economy. So I expect Trudeau to come to the table and work with Trump on some of the things that Trump wants to see happen. Canada's we don't want Canada to be our enemy, but at the same time, we got to stop all these countries from, continually taking advantage of the American taxpayer, which it's our fault because our government's been the culprit of that. So Trump came out. Well, thank you, Danny. I appreciate it. But Trump came out and he said that the country can't survive unless it's ripping off the U.S. of $100 billion, and that's true. So we know where this is probably going to head, right to the negotiation table, and then everybody's going to get a little piece of what they want, and U.S. and Canada will rebuild their trade together, and it'll be fine. Trump did put a picture out, and that's one thing that I really want to talk about because the picture resonates with me because of the things that I have done with my books and stuff. So I'm going to throw that up there. Okay, so this picture is starting to become infamous, and it was created by Trump's team. So here we have Trump standing on a rock, a mountain, and he's got the Canadian flag beside him, and he's staring out across what we now know as the Swiss Alps. Okay, so everyone on like social media is trying to figure out, what does this mean? Wow, what is he going to conquer Canada and then conquer this and conquer that? So if you read my book, The Swiss Effect, this helps me solidify that the information that I found is correct. Yeah, we would like to push Trudeau off of the rocks, but we can't say that too loud. But what this means is, like I said from my book, The Swiss Effect, I know what Trump is doing because I followed while we were getting distracted with all of these other things. I looked into some of these little things that Trump was doing, and I found a pattern. And so Donald Trump Switzerland has been trying to influence Donald Trump since 2016, and Trump has rejected them every time. So when we're talking about Switzerland, we're talking about the World Health Organization. We're talking about the World Economic Forum. We're talking about all those acronym organizations over there that have the power. And there's also the world globalization issue. So that group of oligarchs and shadow people over there in Switzerland and in Europe, they want to create the global society. One religion, one currency, one everything. They want it controlled from Switzerland. So this picture depicts Donald Trump standing beside the Canadian flag going, I have Canada now. What are you going to do about it? And I think if he was to do another one, he would probably put the French flag beside it now, because he just had a meeting with Macron over the weekend as well, and that went better than expected. So Donald Trump is taking power away from the shadow government over in Europe, and this is a major thing. Even Vladimir Putin put out a report that said, "Hey, there's a multi-billion-dollar bounty that the World Economic Forum has put out on Trump." I don't know if that's true or not. It looks like the article that I found on that, it has been scrubbed from the internet, so I'm going to try to find another route to getting that. But Putin did release a statement that said that they are actively trying to figure out how to get rid of Trump, which it doesn't surprise me one bit, because what Trump is going to do, he's going to separate himself. He's going to separate the United States from Europe, which if you look at GDP and what is provided to NATO, what is provided to the European Union, Trump's going to downsize that. And if Trump downsizes our contribution to those organizations, they will not be able to have the power that they think that they have today. So it hurts them. Also, we fund the majority of the World Health Organization. We fund the majority of the World Economic Forum. So that's going to be a problem for them, because that's where Europe's power lies, in those organizations. So if we stop funding them, they'll lose power. And when you look at those Swiss organizations, and you look at how Donald Trump is playing his cards, okay? Donald Trump is being masterful about it. He's being very under the radar about it. Like this picture here, it's very cryptic. And if you don't know any better, and you don't know what's happened in regards to Trump and the Swiss power brokers, you're not going to know what that means. I know what it means, because I've researched it for a year. I've found all the little clues. I'm sure I missed some, but the majority of them I found. And one thing we also have to take under consideration, which I outline in depth in my book, is that every single one of the Swiss organizations, and there's over 30 of them, 30 different organizations that do different things that supposedly benefit the world. Yes, Trudeau is a Bidenite commie. I will agree with you, Danny, 100%. So saying that, those organizations in Switzerland, when you look at their directors and their executives and their executive boards and all that, and you look at the actual individuals involved, which I named them by name in my book, which has gotten me into some trouble, I believe. But those people, when you look in their backgrounds, they are all part of either a socialist movement, a Marxist movement, a Stalinist movement, or flat out communist. And there's not one. I looked at every single one of them. There's not one ran by a moderate conservative. So that's where my issue with this lies. And that's why when people say, well, are you going to vote for Trump? He's a misogynistic, gay-hating racist. Well, for one, no, he's none of that. For two, I'm going to vote for the person that's anti-Europe, because those are the people that we're giving our taxpayer money to, so they can fund socialism and send it right back over here to us. I'm not doing that no more. I don't want my money going over to Europe no more. They've used and abused it. They're done. And I'm going to continue to battle that battle, because it's wrong. And if you read further into my book, there's a lot of evil in those Swiss Alps that people don't know about. And so I went through the evil spiritual side of it too. And I believe that a lot of what we're seeing in Hollywood and some of these evil things that the accusations of them, abusing children and eating babies and all that, that originates from Switzerland. And I've been able to trace that back there. And I believe it to be true. Now, I can't say it is, but I believe it to be true. So go sue somebody else. I'm just saying what my research showed me. But I'm pretty passionate about this. And this is a perfect depiction of what my research looks like. Trump standing up to Switzerland, because Switzerland is the real power brokers. Think about this. How can tiny little Switzerland in World War II, against the greatest military juggernaut of any century, had Hitler not picked the fight with the whole world, we'd all be speaking German. But we look at, how did Hitler not go attack Switzerland? How is Switzerland so damn special that they get to declare themselves neutral? Like, come on. They weren't doing anything that special militarily. They barely had enough people in their military. The country wasn't even that populated back then. So Hitler, it would have taken him a half hour to conquer Switzerland. Why didn't he? Because there's a bigger power there. Colin, you never seem to amaze me. I was waiting on Shauna to chime in on that one, but she must be busy, and that's okay.
No comment.
Yeah, I know, right? So going into that, I want everybody to really pay attention. Now that this picture's out, and it kind of helps me because it validates my book. And there's a lot of other things that Trump's been doing that I covered in my book, and it validates that as well. The Dems do eat babies, I'm pretty sure. I mean, that's not a fact or anything. That's a theory. But I would, if I was a betting man, I'd probably bet a lot of money on that. But let's move on. So we have a few other things to cover before we are done. I want to talk about Trump and his meeting with Macron in France. So if you watch the video is kind of entertaining, because Trump and Macron have had this like handshaking war that's been going on for a while. And so they naturally, when they met, they had their little handshake, and Trump did a really good strategy on the masculinity handshake competition. He came up over the top, like boom. And then that he had high ground on Macron, and you can see Macron was trying. He was trying to position himself. So in our international peeing match, Donald Trump definitely peed farther this time. And he has been winning these anyway. So that it's been entertaining to watch that. But Donald Trump definitely made a point to show his superiority over Macron, which it's funny. It's funny that he does that. Everybody, all the liberals are like, what a big baby. Why would he want to do that? But it's establishing dominance. That's something we haven't done for the last 4 years, is establish dominance over any country. We've let everybody walk all over us and take our money and do whatever they want with it. So I really like seeing that Trump went in there. He's 78 years old, and he put his foot down and said, "Nah, it's my court now. Give me that ball." So I'm excited about that. But they did meet at the reopening of the Notre Dame Church, Catholic church over there in France, the one that burnt down, and it was, a really, really bad fire. But they got it reopened, and that's where they met. And then magically, the moron leprechaun Zelensky was there for some reason, and everybody was like, "What are you doing here, dude?" Don't you have a war to fight? No, I'm gonna come to a church opening. Okay. But Zelensky's just like this little, like, he's like that guy that hangs out in your group, and he's just like he's super nerdy. And not saying that all nerds can't be in your group, but like he's the one that he's like just a hang around, and he just like says the wrong thing at the wrong time all the time. And you're just like, bro, just get out of here. That's Zelensky. And that's what he tried to do at the meeting there. He just kind of bombed the meeting. He was like, hey guys, anybody got any money for me? I need some money. And Trump's like, get out of here. Get. Because Zelensky's only like 3 feet tall. That's right, Stephanie. It was a peeing match. They had a really big one and Trump won because he came over the top with the strategy. The handshake strategy was over the top. And he got right in there. And Macron couldn't do nothing. That was the highlight of the week in the world. Trump won the handshake competition. Yeah, so that's basically, they didn't really talk about anything there. They all were just basically there for the opening of the church. They did have, like a little sit down, but it wasn't anything too exciting that at least that I would want to report on. Shauna, what do you think of the handshake competition?
It's men being typical men. It's always a pissing contest.
Yeah, and Trump won.
I'm gonna let it slide for the simple fact that we need to show the dominance right now. But at some point, it's like, all right, everybody put their wands away.
See, Cole, I agree with you. Trump won the midair arm wrestling competition. I was proud too when I saw it. I was like, he went right in for the kill. He's like, and Macron was like down here, and he was like, he was really struggling. You could see him, but it was so funny, and he was trying real hard to make a comeback. But like in the movie Over the Top, when the hat goes backwards, there's no comeback from that. It's over. So when Sylvester Stallone turns the hat around, it's over. Trump had the hat on backwards. It was over with. For those of you who have watched Over the Top, which is one of the top 5 greatest movies ever. And that's right, Danny. God wins every single time. A lot of these people don't understand is we already have a book that has an entire chapter that says who wins. God wins every time. So that's a good one. Also this weekend, more governments overthrowing each other. So we had North Korea's in this giant fiasco. They're still in martial law, and nobody really knows why, but they are. And it looks like their president is probably going to resign. But now we have Syria. So there's a lot to that, and I'm still kind of digging through who did what and why and how. But Russia is saying that, good job, guys. Al-Qaeda won. And the United States if Trump's going, that's not our problem. I don't care. And so it's turning into that's right, Colin. That's right. But it's turning into like a whole ordeal. And I'm not, it's with so much misdirection in the media. I'm not sure I'm going to put a lot of effort into figuring out what happened in Syria, because I feel like everyone's just going to tell their own side of the story, and everyone's going to blame everyone, and I'm not going to know who did what. So I'm just going to report that it happened, and that rebels stormed the Capitol and they took over the country, and it appears to be the end of a 13-year like brutal regime by Bashar al-Assad, which he was a brutal guy. Nobody really likes him, except he allegedly is hiding out in Russia right now. Okay, so Cole is right that South Korea, France, and Britain all had a vote of non-confidence. It's just something like, I don't think anybody really wants to get involved in that. Like these things are just, what's going on in the world is just, it's not, nothing's balanced out right now. And we just have to, there's going to be more crazy stuff happen. And I think that we shouldn't get involved in it until Trump has full power. And then he can come in and kind of go region by region and kind of balance things back out. Because like what we've seen in the last 4 years is this country's been in this giant like mixing pot, and it's just stuff's getting thrown all over the place. And It's just a mess. And it's because we've had an unstable American government as far as our international leadership. And I don't understand. I mean, I do, but if I'm being, let's pretend like I'm ignorant and I don't know any better. As a liberal, I don't understand how I would have supported Biden for this long while watching the world stability deteriorate over 4 years. It got worse and worse and worse as time went by. And it just doesn't make any sense. It negatively affected our economy. Then we spent a bunch of money on clean energy. We got wars going on all over the place. What are we trying to put up solar panels for right now? Like, we ain't got time for that. So their logic just didn't make sense. Like, we went 4 years, they passed that stupid Green Deal bill because they told everybody the world was going to end tomorrow. I mean, we're 4 years later, the world's still here. It's actually really cold, even for Georgia. So I'm not real sure. Like, I used to tell people back home, like in Ohio, where I'm from, for those of you on here who don't know where I'm from, I used to tell everybody, you know what we need to do to like increase the overall temperature of Ohio? If everybody just goes around in their pickup trucks and throws all their trash on the side of the roads, it'll speed up global warming and Ohio will turn into a tropical state. But I couldn't get anybody to believe me. I was just going off of the Democrats' logic that pollution causes higher temperature. So if you pollute Ohio, we won't get snowed on anymore. And it'll be a tropical state. And then like Sandusky, where Cedar Point's at, that'll be like the most sought after beach in America. I mean, that was my plan anyway. But I just don't think I got anybody to buy into that. Which is probably good because I don't like pollution. We have a pollution problem here in Atlanta, and I can always tell. I can always tell when it's getting ready to get nice out because you'll start seeing mattresses on the side of the highways here, like everywhere. Like, oh, must be turning springtime. There's mattresses out, right, Shauna? You notice the mattress thing?
No.
What are you talking about? They're everywhere.
I don't know what you're talking about at all.
She's playing dumb because she's from here. But I can show you where there's a couch on the side of I-75 right now. Like right when you get into Stockbridge on the south side, there's a couch right off of the highway.
First of all, what are you doing on the south side? What are you doing on the south side? I mean, I gotta drive through there. Dangerous place for you to be. Why are you over there?
I'd go down there and do whatever I want.
Okay, don't call me.
Well, I'm famous. Don't you know? I'm like C-list now.
No.
I gotta go down that way to get to work when I peel off on 675. But there's a couch. There's a couch that's been there for like 2 weeks, like right off the side of the highway. Then I saw a video where somebody, and it proved my theory because at first I was like, well, are people just throwing these off the side of the highway, or do these guys down here in Georgia not know how to use bungee cords? And I saw a video on the news where a guy had a mattress on the back of his truck, and the front of it was on top of like the cab. And guess what happened? The wind caught it, blew it off the truck, and it went all over. It was on 85. Like, come on. You guys got to use more than one bungee cord. You need to get all the directions. But I might have to teach these guys how to strap stuff down to trucks because I feel like that's what's happening around here. Shauna was going to say something, decided not to. So I mean, that's pretty much all that's going on right now. Um, I did see an interesting picture the other day, and I wish I would have kept it and put it up here. But I saw a picture of Obama's house in Chicago, and he was within 2 lots away from the largest mosque in Chicago. Maybe that's something, maybe that's nothing. But Obama did make a speech at his Obama Foundation that I found very interesting. And as I'm reading or as I'm listening to him give the speech, he's saying a lot of things that makes me think that the Democrats are not just going to let Trump walk into the White House. I'm just saying, I'm throwing that out there. And I really, really feel like Obama is leaning towards trying to have something happen. He all but said it. So if you guys want to get on the online and look for Obama's Obama Foundation speech and listen to it, it's not very long, but he says enough to where I'm like, whoa, that sounds like he's trying to incite an insurrection. So,
But I thought we already knew that that's what they were going to do. They have been talking about it for a minute. Like, I'm already expecting it to happen.
yeah, but it's a whole other ordeal right now because I don't know if Trump is just busy being international right now or if he is actually has his guys watching that situation, which is what I would do if I was president, because there's a lot of fires out there. So Trump can't put them all out at one time. But I'll guarantee you that there's a Department of Justice influence getting ready to happen. I know nobody's really going to be in the job until the cabinet picks are confirmed. And Trump's really not president until the inauguration. However, December 15th of this month, which is a few days away, is when the states all come together and do their to confirm the delegates. So I think that it's going to be okay. If they make it past the 15th, I think we're going to be fine. And you're right, Danny. Sabotage and lying is the donkey rhino forte. And I'm already seeing Mitch. I've seen enough of Mitch McConnell on TV the last couple weeks. Yeah, I'm not going to say what I'm thinking, but I want Mitch McConnell to just retire and go somewhere else, like back to China. Do I think Trump, Doge, and RFK will be able to get all their plan done in 4 years and rid us of all the bad government workers? I think that I think Trump picked his cabinet the way he did because that's going to be part of their obligation is to go through their own departments and look about 5 deep in the ranks and go, where are these guys' loyalty at? Were they part of the problem? Were they trying to stand up for the right thing? If they weren't, he's going to gut it all. He's probably the top 5, 6, 7 people in rank. I think they'll be relieved of their duties. The liberals like, well, if Kash Patel takes over the FBI and all these FBI agents quit, we're going to be in trouble. No, we're not. Do you know how many people are trying to get into the FBI? A lot. There's a waiting list. So next man up. If you want to be a crybaby and quit because you're scared of going to jail because you committed so many crimes as an FBI agent, a ranking official, go ahead, quit. You're still going to go to jail. But we have a deep list of great law enforcement officers that are ready to walk into these jobs. And so I'm not that worried about it. I think Donald Trump is going to get a lot accomplished. Now, my question is JD Vance going to be ready to take over that torch in 4 years? I'm going to wait and see what he does. He talks really well. He talks a good game, and he's been complimenting Donald Trump really well during the campaign. But I want to see what his actions do because we really didn't get to vet him too well as as a voter because he was only in the Senate for a very short time. So we never really got to see what he can bring to the table. So this is going to be a kind of a learning experience for all of us to just see how he works and see what he's doing and how he communicates with people, and especially, you know, whatever Donald Trump tasked him with. Is he going to complete the job, or is he going to be a border czar like Kamala Harris and do nothing? So we're just going to have to wait and see how that all works out. But I do believe that if I thought Trump wasn't, because Trump's technically in a lame duck presidency this time around, which means you shouldn't expect much out of him because there's no re-election. However, seeing how Donald Trump got elected and he's off running, the guy's not going to sit around. He's going to do work. I don't think Donald Trump knows how to do anything except work. I think he's a workaholic. So, and he has a lot of pride. So I think that he's going to want to leave his presidency as great as he can. He wants to go down in history as the guy who saved America, and he knows that he has his work cut out for him. If he doesn't get it all done, he's going to get a large portion of it done. So yeah, to answer your question, I don't think he's going to get it all done, but I think he's going to get a lot of it done. Yeah, I think we should have cheeseburger day for, well, but we got to wait till RFK fixes the food first, then we can have McDonald's cheeseburger day. Because right now, that's not a cheeseburger. That's a mystery meat. I don't trust it. I don't eat at McDonald's. Shauna
McDonald's
does.
been making me sick since the 90s. I don't fuck with McDonald's. Just saying.
That's how passionate she is. She had to come in and drop the F-bomb right off the bat.
We can do cheeseburgers, just not from McDonald's.
Cheeseburgers.
But
so, it's got to be real bacon, like real Canadian bacon. That's the best bacon. That's not made by Justin Trudeau. I want like real, like backwoods, axe wielding Canadian bacon. That's what I want. Like, I want him to go out there and hack that pig up and go, "We having bacon this morning," and then we go eat it. But that's what I mean, in my head, that's how it works in Canada. And then they go tap the thing in the side of the tree, and they got their maple syrup ready. They get a little jug and they wait on it to come out, and then they go eat their breakfast.
Oh my God.
That's not how it works. I don't know. I've never been to Canada.
Oh my God. You gonna get?
I mean, I went to
banned
Windsor
from
one time.
playing.
I'm not gonna get banned from Canada.
Yeah. We about to be on a tour making a list. How many countries can you get banned from? Let's see.
I just saw that another famous person got banned from the United Kingdom. It was Ronnie Radke, the lead singer of the band Falling in Reverse. He's banned from England now too.
For what exactly? Did he offend the crown too?
No, I forget what it was for. Something he got arrested for a long time ago. I think he went to prison or something, and England didn't like that. So he had this whole like concert scheduled, and England said, "Nah, you can't come in here." So he can't go into England.
Once again, who wants to go to England?
I mean, if you got money coming, you're going to go to England. I don't even care. Like, I know that, in England, you got the Pikeys. They're going to buy my book because the Pikeys are awesome. And then you got the Scousers. They're going to buy my book because they're awesome. And if for those of you who don't know what those two groups of people are, the Hooligans, they'll buy my book. Get it. Let's give a big FU to the Crown conglomerately. There. How's that, Shauna?
Better. We're getting there.
Yeah. So for those of you who didn't see my interview with Sierra Lucian, go back and watch it. She's a pretty incredible person. She's trying to do a lot of good. and trying to get all these this big foster care system set up. She's just a great person. It was a great interview, and she says all the right things, and she's very motivated about what she does, as she was a former foster kid that made it out. So go back and watch that interview. Also, follow my interviews with Jenny Lynn Gleave. She's been interviewing. I've been interviewed by her like twice now. And she just sent me a text during this thing, and she wants to do something. I don't know. I haven't read it yet, but she wants me to do something. So she's a great person, and I'm enjoying working with them too. So my span of podcasting starting to expand a little bit. I'm working on a couple other people to interview. So we'll keep bringing the news, but as hopefully we have a news to give by January. Also, I want to give some shout outs. Put my Grayson in for this one. The Grayson Rams are in the state finals, and we play Carrollton, and I'm excited about that. We're about to be the state champs. Carrollton, they got that big 5-star quarterback that's going somewhere big. Screw him. We're going to sack him about 30 times. And also, Georgia beat Texas this week to go to where they're the SEC champions now. So Texas can eat it too. But that's pretty much our show for the day. Everybody be safe out there. Watch your surroundings. I don't trust what's going on in the world right now. So just be careful out there. Know where your guns are at. I'm out. Peace.